Hi guys, I'm Calamity Joe. Welcome back to a new video on the Calamity Joe YouTube channel. Just going to grab these two controllers. These very important two controllers called the left and the right Joy-Con. Right, so I want to start this stream quickly with the first two important things of today. That will be finding those two rightfully so important things. Would be starting. I want to get some XP levels quickly. I just want to quickly just want to put in the stream that the stream has started, and that should be done pretty quickly. Hello Pixel King, welcome to the stream. Pixel King, I saw your comments, her comment. Yeah, I'm not quitting YouTube, guys. It was just happened to be it was April Fool's Day, and I thought, why not? Oh, let's eat some of this cake. It's been here for a couple of months. The cake tasted horrible. It's been there for quite a few months, guys. It's been there for quite a few months. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, guys, I'm not actually quitting YouTube. It's just it was April Fool's Day, so I thought I'd pop a few jokes. Yeah, guys, so, right, we've had a bit of cake. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Right, so let's just find the nearest bed. Nearest bed is up here. Right. We just gotta be careful, it could be mobs. Where is the nearest mob? I don't see anybody. I honestly can't. How is everybody on this stream? Is everybody good? I don't see a single mob. Apart from a spider. Can we get that spider from here? We did, yeah. We come a long way from where we began, and I will tell the spider all about it when we find him again. But we won't, because he's dead. Right. I did put it in this Discord server that we were live. And let's hope we can get some people on this stream. We could do a bit of the roller coaster today, because I've got the wood to do that at the moment. I've got the wood to do that roller coaster at the moment from the house that we took down a few days ago. And we found a lot of wood just scattered about the place, so we could do that. That's something that we could really think of doing. Bo 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 do 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 do. There we go. Let's go. Oh, something, guys. Sorry, guys. There's something in my eye. There was some dust got caught in my eye. That was quite painful. There we go. Sorry, I just had to rub my eyes because my eyes were stinging a bit. Right, so 2 bones. Yo, I'm back. Welcome back. Welcome back, Max does edits forever. Welcome back. Right, so we're just going to go and... Is there anything in these chests? Well, a lot of this cobblestone is because we built that little cobblestone house over there, out of fences. So all it is we want to get rid of some of this in a minute. we want to get rid of the shit that we don't need. I don't think we need any of that. The glass we don't. The chest, the bones, the food we probably do. We probably need some weapons. Long time no see. Welcome back. Welcome back. What do we need? This, whatever we make from here is going to become sticks. So we needed some sticks to actually work on this roller coaster. We've got 35, so we've got just enough now to make some fences. I don't know how many we're going to need at the moment. At the moment, I don't really know how many we're going to need. But we've got just over 2 stacks. So this could be really interesting because I don't know how much we need. Before you were working on the nether part of the roller coaster. Yeah, we worked on that back in October. We've done all this since. We've done all this bit since. This bit was already there. This bit here, that bit there and this bit here was we did before the nether. But we've done all of this since. We've done a lot on this roller coaster since, which is just a really it's been a really fun project. A lot of this, basically, this bit here, all of this bit here, and all of this bit we've done in the last few weeks. We had to take a good 2.5 month break from it because we literally ran out of fences. We ran out of fences big time. Basically, this is probably the largest, at this point, it's probably the largest roller coaster in Minecraft. I mean, it stretches all the way over this mountain. We are going to have to go down ever so slowly. I don't really have the best... I would have jumped, but I don't have... Well, we don't have any wood left in the world. We don't actually have any wood left in the world. Well, we have trees and all that, but I don't want to chop every tree down. But... in a way, yeah, we don't have any chopped oak logs left anymore. To even build it, we've had to take down a forest over in the top part of this section of this map. After we do this, we'll go over there and I'll show you guys what I mean. The only reason we're working on this roller coaster now is because I took down a house a few days ago. I took down a house a few days ago, and there was a lot of wood there. There was a lot of wood left over from this. Do you know what? Part of me wants to have... Hi, your Discord got hacked. How? What do you mean your Discord got hacked? Hello, Oraway. Welcome to the stream. I saw your comment on Italy. I was totally unaware that Italy had lost. I only knew about England's result because I watched England live. And I was not impressed by England last night. I wasn't impressed by England last night, guys. I will admit. Check general. I don't... Yeah, I don't think so though, Duffel. Not lost, humiliated. That's the thing though. I'm surprised. I don't know whether you were hacked, Duffel, because on Decepted server you commented that you would do it. I don't know whether you've done that intentionally. It was AI. Yeah. If it was AI, you weren't hacked then. Oh yeah, I'm really surprised by that. The team is not qualified to play any tournament. I was trolling. Yeah, that's not trolling, Duffel. That's not trolling. Saying that you were hacked is not trolling. Because generally we had someone that was hacked last night. The guy that we banned, that Decepted banned from my server this morning, I can tell that he was hacked. Because he was generally in the server for months and actually had joined the VC and had spoke. So there's no way that he would have spammed that. I love you, Joe. Thank you. It's really kind of you. Welcome, Egg. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I saw that. I can't believe that Italy last went to the World Cup in 2014. Like, no offence, guys. No offence to any Italian football fans, but I was 12. At this point, I was 12 in 2014. You actually having one of the best days? Yeah. But the thing is, though, Duffel wasn't hacked. He was trolling, which that is wrong, because we have a person in who we had a person in the in the stream last night called Yamaha Mini Raptor. Yamaha Mini Raptor was generally hacked because he would not have spammed all those like dodgy links. But I don't get why you would troll saying you're hacked though. I think that's just wrong. I was 6. Blimey. But yeah, in that regard, I do feel bad. It makes me laugh, you know. It makes me laugh. You've won the Euros. Well, in an Englishman's opinion, they won it quite cheaply because, in my opinion, Italy were lucky to still have 11 players on the pitch in that match after Jorginho went in on, Grealish's calf and the last man challenge. But they still won something. But to also have not gone to the World Cup in 12 years is shocking, really. I mean, I will say this, like, England haven't gone. England didn't go to the World Cup in 1992. Yeah, the last World Cup, England have failed to get to the World Cup 3 times. England didn't get to the World Cup in 19 England didn't get to the World Cup in 74, 78 and 90 and 94. So yeah, I know what that's like. England did it. England missed out on the... Oh, I'm going to sneeze. England missed out on the World Cup in twice in the 70s. So I understand that point of view. It was AI. I'll think about it, Duffel, but that's still wrong. That's still wrong though to do. Cool. Congratulations, Max Edits Forever. Thank you. Sorry, I sneezed. We're going into it's April 1st, guys. So it's April 1st. So I will admit, guys, I'm not quitting YouTube, like I said in that community post. I was giving you an April Fool's joke because I thought we needed one. I thought we needed an April Fool's joke. Yeah, that was definitely not a joke, so yeah, thanks. Thanks. Yeah, that's alright. Yeah, I was making a joke, guys, that I wasn't saying that to counter that, I was just saying that because some people generally believed it. On that regard, guys, on this day a few years ago, a guy in my college class who some of us didn't get on with commented in our student chat, "Oh, I've dropped out, I'm not coming back," and it was an April Fool's joke. And I jokingly they hated me for it, but I jokingly responded, "You're kidding me." He said, "No, I'm not." Then at the end of the day, he said, "I'm not dropping out. It was an April Fool's joke." And I responded, "What, you're kidding me? I've already hired the jazz band." This person in my class, he wasn't coming back, and we were all like, "Yeah," and then it was an April Fool's joke. Might as well kill some of these mobs a minute so we can get some XP levels. Need a new villager in here. Caston the villager has decided to despawn. Peak. Joe is peak. What am I peak at, guys? Yeah, we had a guy in my class that he was a bit... Well, wasn't a very nice person. He randomly put in that he was leaving. And we were all like, yeah. And then we found it was an April Fool's joke. Eating pizza. I mean, I do love a pizza. I didn't have a pizza Saturday night. Normally I'd have a pizza on a Saturday night. I didn't. I was good, guys. I had a Italian style bolognese instead. Basically, I couldn't be bothered to make anything, so I just ordered a ready meal. And yo, you were playing on the PS3? No, I'm playing on the Nintendo Switch. Joe is an ideal human being. I wouldn't say I'm ideal. No one's ideal. There's no such thing as ideal, because, you know, everything can be ideal. I'm hunting a zombie. Going zombie hunting. Hello. There we go. Just gonna get some more. We're gonna hunt some mobs. Yeah, everything has everything has pros and cons. It's the same. I was talking to someone on a stream the other day, and they were saying about, you know, right hand driving's better, which, you know, right hand driving and left hand driving both have their pros and cons. You know, both have their pros and cons. Obviously, in the UK, we drive in the left, but that is predominantly because when the UK had horses and carts, driving on the left was much better with a horse and cart, because if you drove on the right, it meant if you rode on the right, it meant that the passenger had to get out into the middle of the street, so it blocked the road up. So driving on the left on a horse and cart meant that Can we go back to where in the stream you do a daily quote? A daily quote? I can't remember. I can't remember doing the daily quotes. We did daily blocks at one point because of Dusty Shadowman. Hello, Fire Jason Kaka. Yeah, we can do quote of the day. I forgot about quote of the day myself. Quote of the day. Might continue trying to be a goalkeeper. Cool. I love going in goal. I used to love going in goal because I was shit. I used to love going in goal when I was in school in like PE lessons because I could just come out and wipe people out. I could just come out and wipe people out. It was fun. The only problem is I couldn't save anything that was close to me because I would lose focus of the ball because of being like long sighted, so I can see really far ahead, and my vision is slightly blurred in the things that's in front of me. Joe's quote of the day. So you were good in soccer. Well, we call it football in the UK because we invented the sport, so we call it football. But yeah, I wasn't good. I could play. You stick me in a position, and you stick me in a position, and I do a job. Calamity of Joe's quote. Now let's call it Calamity of Joe's quote of the day. It's football, not soccer. Well, it's both. Well, yeah, but the thing is, though, my problem... I used to be forced in goal a lot, but my problem was, I was short. My problem was I was short, so obviously I didn't fill out the goal as much. So there was a thing, though, if I was to jump up to try and catch the ball, there was a strong chance I wasn't catching. In America, the term soccer. But yeah, but America is the only country that calls it soccer. Because they have something called what we call American football. But American football it should really be called American handball. Because you really play it with your hands. You kick the ball up, and then the ball spends most of the game in your hands. So it should be more called handball, really. I was just let to go. Well, so was I in a way, yeah. But in my case, I was quite short, so playing in goal was horrible. Yeah, that's because Canada doesn't really have its own football league. Canada and America have a joint football league. Canada did have a football league because every place that was part of the British Empire had a football league. Hello, welcome to the stream. I just can't read this person's name, so I'm just going to have to have a look a second. I do apologise, I cannot read your name. I'm 4'9". Yeah. How... Blimey. It's supposed to be like that long. I like the idea of American baseball, but it's widely... Well, I've got to be honest, though. Joe's soup. Yeah, I'm tiny. Well, I mean, that's not ridiculously short. I mean, it is short, but it's not ridiculously short. There are people that are shorter. But yeah, on that regard, though, thoughts on badminton. I love badminton. I'm actually quite a good player of badminton. I was actually quite good. Yeah, there has been talks with that. There has been talks about that creating like the British League, but it's one of those. We're 4 countries. We're not one we're one united country, but we're basically we're basically a political union. The United Kingdom is basically a political union based up of 4 countries. So all those 4 countries still want to have some sort of autonomy. So, you know, that's why we don't have a great British football team. We do have a great British football team, but only at specific events. But only at specific events. But Great Britain, because Northern Ireland, Scotland and Wales don't want to give up their sovereignty, so they want to be able to still play their own national. Yeah, it's a good sport. It is fun. Badminton's a good fun sport. It's basically tennis, guys, but the whole point is you've got a thing called a shuttlecock. That's generally the name. Yeah, it's not every sport. Football isn't big in every country, and a really long racket. Yeah. If we're talking about that for a second on those sports, yeah, not everyone. Like for example, football's not big in some countries. You know, it's not that big of a sport. I think that was the problem last night, though. We can't have Cole Palmer and Phil Foden in the same team because they're basically the same player. They play exactly the same way. I think if England want to do well at the next World Cup, they need to play one of them because they're both the same sort of player. I'll be back in a second. Yes, I just had to go and take the Hoover, pick up the Hoover and take it downstairs. Yeah, so on that regard, like, because apparently I was asking about bowling. Bowling is a good sport. I love bowling, especially on the Wii, Nintendo Wii. What was I gonna do? A second. There we go, I'm back. I can't hear, I just had to mute. No, it's not the style of football though. It was two friendlies. And Thomas Tuchel was trying young players, so a lot of the main players didn't play. But Phil Foden and Cole Palmer were the worst 2 players on the pitch. they didn't try. Well, they did try, but they kept losing the ball. The two of them can't play in the same team. You need one of them. You need one of those players. I think England needed somebody like Garner last night. It's Marco Polo sport. No, Marco Polo's more of a game. You know, when you close your eyes and someone tries to find you. Someone closes their eyes and you shout Marco, then someone shouts Polo, and then basically they're trying to find you blindfolded. It's hide and seek a sport? No, it's not. Hide and seek's a game, not a sport. It does. I watched this manager's first game for England last night. It wasn't his first game for England last night. It wasn't his first game for England last night. Thomas Tuchel has been in charge since 2025. He took over January 1st, 2025. His record ain't too bad, actually. Thomas Tuchel. Thomas Tuchel's record with England isn't actually that bad. 9 wins, 1 draw, 2 losses. It just happens to be the 2 losses were to Senegal and Japan. The only game I thought they were shit in was the Japan one, because they had a perfectly good goal rolled out against Senegal. They lost 3-1 to Senegal, but it was 2-2. It was 2-1 on the 88th minute, and Jude Bellingham had a perfectly good header ruled out by the referee. And then when England we're on the attack looking for another equaliser. Senegal caught them on the counter attack. I didn't actually think they played that bad in that match. It hasn't looked like that. Well, no, that's because when he came in, they were pretty much playing everybody that Gareth Southgate had stuck with. And Gareth Southgate had stuck with a lot of players like Kyle Walker, Kieran Trippier. Some of the players that Gareth Southgate had really, really backed were all pushing in their third. Hello, Soul Reaper. Welcome to the stream. Some of the people that were pushing that he kept in were now in their mid-30s. So it's basically now trying to find a New England squad, which is why Thomas Tuchel has brought in players like James Garner. He's brought in players like Noni Madueke. He's brought in some of these players. He's brought in some younger players. He's also brought in players like Jordan Henderson, which I didn't agree with. I'd have him there as like a coach and someone with experience, not playing. But bringing in some youth players, bringing in some players with experience, I think is actually, a sort of good option. How much does your computer cost? I've got to be honest. Garner I find class. Yeah, that's what England needed last night, but That's what England needed last night. But he was more. They were putting him more in a. They were putting him more in a defensive midfield. Yeah, they were putting him more in a defensive midfield last night. And every time he was on the ball, I was expecting him to put like a cross in, like he would do with Everton. And he put some beautiful crosses. Really good corners. And when I saw it, I was just sat there like, he's got to put loads of them. I was like, he's got to put he's got to put. I was like, he needs to put the cross in. But him going into midfield, I'd rather him putting the cross in. 50,000? Jesus, what did you make it of? Diamonds? Yeah, there's no way it cost. Yeah, 50k RAM though, that's a lot. That would, I think that's... No, it's just a RAM. I know he's dead from... I was about to say, I know he would be dead sort of from the fall. I shall name this Skeleton Alleyway. Need to turn now. Like the Romanian girl. Though the Romanian girl was the Romanian girl in Deceptive Server wasn't after me because because this girl, she was after a person that we knew, and he basically we know that someone will fall for her, but it's like she wants to come to the UK, and it's like I think her idea is just to find someone that will marry her, and basically I'm still convinced that a guy me and Decepted knows is still talking to her. Shit! Fuck me, that scared the f***ing shit out of me. Hey guys, have you ever seen the secret building? There used to be a house right here that I got rid of. So this is the house. This is the old base. There was a house. It's disconnected. Great. Just back. It's custom. That's still 50,000 though. Like, that's a lot of money. Like, you could buy a house for that. You could generally buy well, not a house, but you could generally pay about if you were renting a house, you'd be able to, with that, you'd be able to pay like 10 years rent. You know, that's a lot of money. The QR code takes you to a novel that I wrote. Over the last couple of months. I bought a VR headset. For a short film. I don't even know if it works. I bought it for like 15 quid. Yeah, this VR headset I bought for this short film. It cost me the grand total of £15. The reason this looks a bit ickety-bockety is because there used to be a path, and a path used to come straight down here. But well, can I have it? No, I decided to keep it in case I ever want to use it for a prop again. Yeah, the QR code takes you to a book. 25p? But yeah. Jesus. Oh, sorry, I just burped. If never mind. If you walk up to him, he wouldn't even know. He wouldn't even know. Wait. Yeah, I prefer this version. I just prefer it. I mean, this world, guys, I've had for 10 years. Like, I mean, how old were some of you guys when I created this world? Yeah, if ROA walks up to Egg in the street, Egg is not knowing who ROA is. It's just another guy standing next to him. (8'6". Jesus, what? Are you a human or an avatar? I mean, there are people that generally have been like 8 foot. At 8'6", though, you're not going to be slim. Like someone that's 8'6", slim would be like 300 pounds or something like that. What is the hot bar? The hot bar doesn't move. I don't know. April Fools, I know. I did a great April Fools earlier on. I decided that I was quitting YouTube. Nah, Egg's actually like 5'6". He adds the 2 inches from his shoes. This is where we find out that Egg is actually like 6'8" or something like that. 5'10" actually. Jesus. So he's still actually 5'6". He just wears 4-inch lifts. I had a person in my college class that did that. He would say he's 5'10" sometimes, but it was like, but he was wearing 2-inch lifts. It was like, well, you're not. You're like 5'8". Ha. Yeah, he adds an extra inch down. He adds an extra inch on down there. He adds it onto his height. That's the only person that adds that to their height. Anyway, what was I gonna do? I was gonna say something, guys. Oh. I came out as a tall teen. Cool. I came out as I was a very short teen. I came out as a very short teen. You know, when I was 16, I was like... When I was 17, I was like 5'7". I think. I say short, but you know, 5'7" isn't actually short in most places. It's actually average globally, so. But you know, I'm not 5'7" anymore, but I was when I was like 17. Do 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 do. When I was 15, I was scared that I would never be 6'1". Some of my family members predicted me to be 6 foot, to be over 6 foot. Never got there. Never got there. Kind of funny though. That's still tall though. That's still tall. That, you know, that's taller than the average adults. That's taller than the average adult at that point. You're 19'8". Fucking hell. If you were 19'8", you'd be standing on the floor, and you'd probably be you'd be taller than my house at 19'8". At 19'8", you'd be taller than my house. No, I think so, but I'm not American. It was just my grandmother. My grandmother goes, "Oh, you're like..." This is when I was like 13. I was like 5 foot, and my gran goes, he goes, "You're going to be about 6 foot, I reckon." Yeah, so my gran was absolutely adamant. She thought I was going to be 6 foot, and you're 18 miles long. You know, Jesus. They didn't climb Mount Everest, they climbed Egg. Well, I wouldn't say that, you know, picking up somebody and lifting them up. I wouldn't say that. It's more of whether they can actually lift you, because it's more whether they can actually lift you, because you know, it's not, the height doesn't matter. It's how heavy they are. Like for example, my friend's taller than me. Nah, sorry, you're too heavy. I'm joking. My friend is taller than me, but there was a point that I weighed almost 100 pounds more than them. So it's not about when doing that. It's not about like how tall they are, because you could be a really short person and lift up someone that's much taller than you. It depends on how much they weigh. I'm only 94. 94 isn't that much, so that's like just over 200. Actually, that might be under 200 actually. I don't actually know how much I can lift, guys. I don't actually know how much I can lift. I mean, I lifted 80. I lifted roughly 80 without breaking a sweat. But that wasn't like, you know, deadlifting. That was just me grabbing someone in front of me and just lifting them up. No. I mean, fair play being 94, because I remember you said about how much weight you lost. Fair play. That's like what? 20 kg? Fair play. You hate getting you quit. What? As a creeper. I mean, fair play. Fair play. That's what? 21 kg. That's a lot of weight. I mean, what's 2? What's 1 kg is 2.2 pounds, so 10 kg is 20. That's like, what, 50 pounds? Fair play. Yeah, but that's always been the case. Most of the stream isn't about... That's always been the case. Yeah, I just googled what 94 kg is. That's around about 207 pounds. That's not that bad. I weigh 10 pounds more than that, surprisingly. Joe died midstream, and I'm not died. I didn't die. I just put the controller down for a moment. Yeah, we don't talk about that. Your cartoon relationships, that's just weird. Green? Yeah, I'm not green. I'm sorry to tell you, I'm not green. I mean, I've had somebody think I was an American football player before because apparently I sounded like him. There we go. Peter Pan. Interesting. Peter Pan, great. I don't like the 2023 film. I think that's shit. I like the 2003 Peter Pan film. Chat has no filter. Yeah, some of these people in the chat don't have filters, but, you know, it's one of them. Disney shit today. Disney, Disney's problem is that they don't give their directors now freedom. So if you go watch a Hollywood film now, Hollywood films now sort of make decisions. Hollywood films now sort of make decisions on what their directors, what cameras their directors use, and things like that. So there's no experimentation. Okay, Axe. Okay, Axe. Yeah, I couldn't say your name. Egg's already married. He's married. He's married to about 35 different people. Is that because you mentioned about shoving pumpkins up your ass, Egg? Maybe. Who's Egg? Egg is Bubwo. He used to have it. His channel name used to be Egg is Bubwo. Basically, Bubwo used to have a different channel name. So I still call him Egg because that was his channel name initially. Basically, some people change their channel names. I sometimes forget they change their channel names, so I basically keep calling them by their old channel name. Nope, it's 9:55. Cool. Cool. Sleep schedule fucked as always. 9:55 PM though, that's not actually late. Unless you're like really, really young. But late is everything after 1. Yeah. Well, no, late is anything after 12 in my opinion. So for example, I often work late into the night if I'm like, because I can't find a job at the moment, I often work late to the night on my novel stuff, and sometimes I'll be writing like till like 2-3 in the morning. But you know, that's not recommended. It's not recommended to do that. Yeah. Egg is an unk. He was 14 during COVID. Fucking hell! If he was unk during COVID, I'd be ancient. Well, if you're getting called unk, I must be ancient. I was 12. No, I was 18 during COVID. Yeah, that makes me feel weird. You know, I was 18 during COVID. I mean, I was 18 during COVID. Like, I turned 18 that year. I turned 18 in 2020, so I was... Jesus. It was mildly boring. COVID... Well, COVID was... It wasn't your late childhood, because your childhood doesn't end till you're 18. Your childhood doesn't end till you're 18. Childhood does not end till you're 18. You're still a child till you're 18. When you're classed as a teenager, you're still a child. Yeah, your childhood ends at 18. It ends at 8. It ends at 18. No, there's no such thing as teenagerhood. Childhood is basically, you're a child until you're 18. Basically, being a teenager is basically the latter stage of your childhood. Yeah, there's no such thing as childhood. Basically, you're a preteen. You're a preteen up to 13. You're a teenager till you're 19. Your childhood ends when you're 18. So COVID was the last end of my childhood. COVID was literally the last bit of my childhood. I spent most of 2020. A teenager isn't a stage. A teenager is a stage of your childhood. Childhood does not end at 13. There's no such thing as teenagerhood. Basically, being a teenager is a stage of your childhood. It's not two separate things. Basically, your childhood ends at 18 because you're still a child up until you're 18. Yeah, those are just stages. Those are stages, but they're not a thing. Baby, toddler. It's baby, toddler, tween, teen, young adults, but those are just stages of your childhood. You are a child until you're 18. You're a child until you're 18 because on the day of your 18th birthday, you can legally vote in an election. You can legally, move out. Your parents have to have a duty of care for you until you're 18, and then they don't have to do anything because you're not a child anymore. That's disgusting. That's absolutely disgusting. You can legally drink. Yeah, you're still a child. You're still a child at 15. So you can, yeah, children can legally drive. Children aged 15 to 17 can still drive. No, I didn't. I just stopped for a moment. Yeah. Yeah, so children, well, it's not, are you in America then? Axe, because 15 is, it's only 15 in America. But yeah, at 15 though, at 15, yeah, you can drive in America, but you're still a child technically. So your parents, if your childhood had ended, if your childhood ends at 13, then technically your parents can turn around and say no, you can't live here anymore. But he's from the Philippines. So perhaps it's 15 in the Philippines too then. But yeah, your childhood ends when you're 18. Your childhood ends. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, no. Your childhood ends at 18 because that's legally when your parents don't have to basically apply for you any, don't have to supply you anymore. So say when your parents, you know, buy you something. No, it doesn't end when it starts working, but basically it ends when your parents no longer have to support you. So they've always got to make sure there's a roof, and there's a roof under your roof over your head. There's food on the table. But once you turn 18, there's no such commitments. If there's no food at the table, if there's no food for you, that's your problem, not theirs. So yeah, that's when your childhood ends. It's 18. Three words, Egg. You're not my son. No, 60 and old. 60 and old. 1890s old, but in your 60s, there's people in their 60s that, you know, can still run a mile in 20 minutes. 60 and old. What if I see you on the road? Would you shake hands? Probably shake hands because, you know, I believe in honour and respect. Probably shake hands because I believe in honour and respect, guys. I come in the house for some. I found what I want. Probably shake hands because I believe in honour and respect, guys. And I believe, you know, I believe shaking hands with someone is more. I thought you would crush my shin. Why would I crush someone's shin? Hey, if I was playing football against you, yeah, I might crush your shin, but not just walk up to someone in the street. Oh, just here, have a crushed shin. Come on, you can take it. Just. Oh, thank you. It's really kind of you. But yeah, like, on that regard, like, what was I saying? I forgot. Oh, I keep getting pinged in Discord. Actually, I'm not even going to respond to FFF's comments. Because FFF should just read. That's disgusting, Egg. Basically, he's asked me about Duffel because Duffel basically doxed himself, and Decepto kicked him out. Oh, did your mod got banned? No mods have been banned. What mod? What mod? Oh, the YouTube mod. I put no. We removed this mod weeks ago after he timed something out unfairly, and he goes, "Who's that?" He's just fucking asked me. He's mentioned Duffel further up. Dr. FFFIFO is a nice guy, but sometimes I think he's a little bit clueless. Sometimes Dr. FFFIFO can be a little bit clueless, and sometimes his answers are a bit like he doesn't remember what he's just said. Yeah. Decepted generally thinks he's like... He's meant to be 26, but Decepted doesn't believe it for a second. Decepted thinks he's like 12, because sometimes how he comments... He doesn't comment how someone like 26 would comment. You gotta think, someone that's 26 is almost 2 years... is over 2 years older than me. And... someone that's 26 wouldn't comment like that. They wouldn't respond the way he responds. Sometimes how he responds to comments, he does respond how like a young teenager would. So it makes me wonder. I've generally had a person in there say he was in his 20s and he's actually like 14. Which is just really weird. Yeah, there's no way you could be... There is no way that you could be 11, though. Because you just said the other day that you were 6'4". And... if you were 6'4" at 11, they would be carbon dating you and trying to wonder how tall you... why you're so tall. Like, they would be examining you in a hospital and in a science lab, going, well, you know, he's nearly 2 foot. He's nearly 2 foot taller than the average 11-year-old. They'd be examining you, trying to work out what the gene is. There was a guy like that. There was a guy, I can't remember what his name is, but there was a kid in America. There was a guy in America which was like that. He was like 6 foot at... There was a guy in America. And I can't remember what his name is. But he was like ridiculously tall. And it was something like that. Clones of you. Jesus. Actually, if you were 11, technically that would be, I think that would be SA. Technically, I think it would be. I think that would be wrong on so many levels. Yeah, there was... I read something about that. They had... I read this case. I read something similar. There was a guy, he was huge, he was like 6'8" or something like that. So basically, instead of sticking him out on working, they would just have him doing that. They would have him do that because they thought he would create good livestock. So it was, they thought he would create good livestock, and because this guy was like 6'8", they basically just had him there as like a breeder. Yeah, that's wrong. That's forcing somebody to do that. Yeah, I think it's the same person. I mean, looking at that case, how many children do you think that guy had? If he was doing like, you know, 8 a time, eight a night. Well, you never know. You know, he was 6'8", but you know, it could have been the height doesn't always I don't know. I thought it was in the 1800s, but you know, well, it might have been earlier than that. It might have been earlier. It might have been the 1700s. I don't know. But I read something about it. Do you know what? I think I sorted off Instagram actually. I keep getting these like dark history things pop up on Instagram, and one of them said something about it. I saw a really weird one the other day from this. I read a really weird one the other day, and it was off this history Instagram thing that keeps popping up. Guys, what is the story of Napoleon? What do most people say about Napoleon? Joe, wear full armor. That's all right. We're doing all right at the moment. I do want to repair my armor. So, what is Napoleon famous for being? Obviously, French leader, French dictator. Napoleon was in history. The British in history would say Napoleon was short. Napoleon was 5'6". Napoleon was 5'2" in French measurements at his death, but that's the equivalent of about 5'6" in British Imperial. So in British measurements. In the French inch, Napoleon was 5'2", but in the British inch, he was 5'6", 5'7". Roughly about 5'6". So in history, yeah, he wasn't short. He wasn't actually short. Axe. Napoleon was 5'6", 5'7", which is basically still the average height of people today. It's still the average height of most people today. But yeah, this weird history thing I found, guys, prove that he was short in one regard. Napoleon was short in one regard. this dark. this like dark weird history thing, Instagram thing that keeps popping up on my feed, said that he was short in one regard. A certain thing was only 1.5 inches, which is why they say Napoleon was short. 400. Ferdinand? I've never heard of this guy. I might have heard of him, I don't know. I'm gonna have to give my mind a refresher. I love history. So do I. I actually studied history in school. In my where's your house? Not on here because this is legacy. Shit. I need to refresh my page. I've accidentally got rid of... Oh, Ferdinand Magellan. Yes, the explorer. First European to cross the Pacific Ocean. First known European to make contact with the Philippines. I have heard of the other one, Vasco da Gama, which is why there's a football team called Vasco da Gama in Brazil. Portuguese. Obviously, Francis Drake was another one. First Englishman to circumnavigate the globe. Was he the first man to do the globe? Francis Drake. The first... No, the best. He was the best known for making the second circumnavigate the globe in a single expedition between 1577 and 1580. But obviously, there... Right, there we go. So, sorry, I accidentally flipped a switch. But yeah, Francis Drake was another one. He was basically like a pirate. He was a privateer. So he would raid... During the War of the Spanish Armada, England knew that Spain was going to invade England. Magellan. Yeah, sorry, I'm not very good at names. I'm not very good at foreign sounding names. But the really interesting Francis Drake, Spain was planning to invade England and basically take it over. So Francis Drake, have a good rest of your night, Axe. The J is probably noticed H. Actually, yes, I forgot about that. Which is why... This is why James... It's why James Rodriguez is called James. And it's not James. So when he joined, I used to think his name was James. James Rodriguez. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you for watching the stream, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you for watching the stream. But yeah, Francis Drake led something called the Siege of Cadiz. So basically, Cadiz in Spain, they raided it, and they sunk some of the Spanish Armada ships to delay the invasion of England. You are awful at languages. I am. It's because I was terrible at learning them. I had a really horrible teacher. I had a really horrible teacher in my first year of learning language in secondary school, or high school as you might call it in other countries. Basically, in my first year of secondary school / high school, I had a teacher that ripped up my homework in front of me, so I sort of just didn't care. But that just sort of set me off that I didn't care about the language lessons, because the teacher ripped up my homework in front of me. See you next stream. Yeah, which is, as a 12-year-old kid, watching a teacher rip your homework up without even looking at it, basically the teacher didn't like the teacher didn't like some other people's work, so she just ripped all of our work up. And I'd literally done 3 pages of research. We had to write it in French. And we had to write it in English. Sorry, we had to learn. So they called it year 8 and year 10 in Italy. I mean, at least I can understand that, because that's what we call our schools years. Yeah, secondary school in the UK is year 7 to 11, and then we leave school at we leave school in year 11. But yeah, my French teacher, she didn't even look. She ripped mine up with everybody else's, but she didn't even look at it. And I'd done literally 3 pages of research. We had to research a French celebrity. And I literally researched everything from newspapers, clips, everything, stuck it all together. That's really good though as well. That's really good though as well. I'd love to learn some of them. Some of them I'd love to learn, but it's just I can't learn them. I probably could learn another language, but it's one of those as well. Well, yeah, the French teacher, she was just a witch. Basically, I don't think she really liked me that much. I used to struggle in her class, and she would instead just shout at me about it. Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, British English and American English are very similar. It's just that America have changed a couple of spellings. Like, mum is spelt with an O instead of a U. Yeah. America just has some different spellings. So, like, if I say organise, we spell it with an S. They spell it with a Z. Colour, yeah. Hi Joe, I've never been to America. I know, you've never left Armenia. You've told me this. Yeah, tomato and tomato. So I say tomato, they say tomato. Tomato? I don't like tomatoes. There's literally a video of a kid moaning, I don't like tomatoes. Are you sleepy, Joe? No, I'm not sleepy. I wish I was, though. I wish I could be back in bed asleep. But I'm not, guys. I'm really awake. I was tempted to go on a walk, but it looks like it's going to rain. It looks like it's going to rain, and I can't be, and it's actually quite cold. Like, do you remember me? I do remember you, yeah. You've been on the stream for the last, like, hour. I love it when people say, do I remember them? And it's like, of course I do. Oh, Loika, your comments where you put about your dad taking your money, from what you said, that just sounds like from what you actually wrote, that just sounds like they're using it to buy food. Typical England. Typical England. Oh. Guys, thank you for watching the book promotion the other day. Do you remember me? Of course I remember you. Of course I remember you. I saw your comment, but I was talking, so I decided to read it to not respond till after I finished saying what I was saying. We've had some comments come through. That book promotion. The book promotion. Who's first, actually? Who is first? Oh, actually, saying that, all three of you and Axe are all on the same XP. So basically, on the experience points, because how long you've been in the stream, basically all three of you are on the same. You're all on 150. So basically, all three of you are going to alternate between it. What was I going to say a second? Yeah, that video, guys. Hi, I'm new to the stream. Welcome to the stream. So, guys, me shooting that promotional video the other day. I did find it funny. The only thing you guys were talking about, not the book, my eyebrow. I did find that hilarious, I will admit, that everyone was not talking about the book, but they were talking about the fact that I had big eyebrows. I subbed. Oh, thank you so much. We're aiming to hit 8,500 subscribers by the end of the month. That would be really nice if we could hit that. We are 360 away. We have 8,140, everybody. We're getting there. I wanted to see if we could hit 30,000 views by the end of the month, guys. Shall we? By the end of March. Shall we see if we did it? You do not have big eyebrows. What the fuck? Oh, it's because my eyebrows are bushy. It's because my eyebrows are kind of bushy and, you know. So yeah, people were talking about my eyebrows more than the book, which is kind of funny. So, ooh, here we go. We got just under 32,000 views. Yeah. It was funny though. What Duffel Bear commented yesterday in my Discord server was ridiculous. He goes, what Duffel commented yesterday was ridiculous. I was skiing, ouch. What Duffel commented yesterday was ridiculous. He commented about the video. That I basically used my shot generally of me holding the book, and he goes, "And you weren't lying about being fat." I'm like, I mean, I knew that one was coming. I knew that joke was coming, but I'm like, yeah. Yeah, he said, and you weren't lying about being fat. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah. The guy in that video is 98. Is like between 97 and 99 kg. I'm like, yeah. But not actually fat, guys. So you weren't lying about being fat. But yeah, that's what he commented. That's what he commented. Which I did actually find it quite funny, but it was he commented that oh, you weren't lying about being fat. I'm like, no shit. Well, you had shown, well, I did show everyone that short film, so it wasn't new. I mean, yeah, but those short films I showed everybody, guys, I was like 2 stone skinnier. I was like 2 stone skinnier at the time, which is like, I don't know, 12 kg or something like that. I was probably like, I don't know, 86, 87. How tall was the film? How short is he? How tall am I? I'm just about 5'9". I'm just about 5'9", somehow. Barely though. Barely. I'm barely 5'9". Literally. I'm like 175.1 centimeters or something like that. Barely. Just about. I'm just about 5'9". No, in this film you were calling him short. Well, I'm not short, guys. Poor Mr. Film. Well, you can do that in a film, though. Oh, the movie was short. Well, it was only that's why they call it. It's called a short film. It's called a short film because it's not a feature film and a short film. You bullet, Mr. Film. That's what the difference between a feature film and a short film is. A short film is anything that's under basically an hour. Anything that's under an hour is a short film. But also, on that regard, if you want to make someone look shorter in a film, just put the camera up. If you want to make someone look shorter in a film, just position the camera upwards and then tilt it down. Then they look shorter. It's with camera work, it's all about framing. So, you know, the tallest person here is probably Orway. If I was to position the camera really high upwards, I could make Orway look really short in a film. Because it's all about framing. It's all about framing in films. So, you know, someone that's like, you know, 6'4", 6'5", you could make them look short because of that, because of the, you know, the camera angling. Which is why I look slightly skinnier in that film. In that short film that I did, it's why I look slightly skinnier in the clip of me with the book, because the camera was aimed slightly upwards, was aimed slightly downwards, so it doesn't show. Every frame has art to it, yeah, 100%. So, for example, we have a thing on. Shit! I've just accidentally turned my telly off. On a film set, for example, we have something called... It's just gone to BBC iPlayer. On a film set, we have something called an apple box. So, have we got anyone here that's like really short? Like, you know, 5'1", 5'2". No signal. Yeah, I think the Elgato's just turned off. Yeah, the Elgato just turned off, guys. I think my game's just... The game just... Yeah, it was the game. The game just went off. It's still on. It's still on the game, but it's just been a bit... There you go. There you go. No, so what I was saying, like... They have something called apple boxes on a film set. So basically, if they're framing a camera, and they need two people in the shot, they have to stand somebody on a box to make so the frame looks normal. So they have to balance out heights. So if you're 5'2" and you're standing next to someone that's 6'4", they need to stand the 5'2" person on the box, so they at least are in the same frame. So that's what they do in films. They have to balance people's heights in the frames because of obviously where the camera is. So we needed a shot. So I was working on a short film last year, and well, this promotional piece for someone, and the guy that was filming it had me stand on a box and crouch down, so like, and really crouch, because they needed someone to stand where this girl had just stood, so she had something to look. So she had something to look at. And where they could cut. So basically, it would look like she was looking in the mirror. So I'm standing on this box, crouching down, because they needed something. So they needed me to. But I'm taller than this girl. So I've got to crouch down on this box, really, really crouch down. And we're not worried that we should have been more worried about the box, because the box was starting to bend under the fact that I'm under my weight. So we get this shot done, and my knees had locked up because I was literally standing in a squatting position on this box with my head tilted forward, so I blend in. You couldn't just step off the box to be the same height. Well, I was the same height. I was taller than the girl. But they needed her to be slightly taller in the one shot, so it looked like there was a physical change between her and being a superhero. So I'm asked to stand in this box, but because they needed something to be a little higher. They needed someone to be a little higher, so they could see where they needed to crop. So it would be balanced out in the film. Yeah, that was a different thing, but that was just awful. That I hated shooting that. But the bad bit for me was the fact that I was standing in a squatting position. You know, I'm probably the heaviest person here. I'm one of the heaviest people there. You know, I'm like, no offense, guys. I don't know why I said no offense to this. You know, I'm almost 100 kg. I'm like, I don't know, a kilo and a half off being 100 kg. The box has nothing in it, so the box is literally just bending under my weight. And that's what I'm sat here. The box is literally bending under my weight, and it's like, shit. We did the shot, the box didn't break, but ridiculous. But yeah, that's what it goes into, making a film. Going into making a film, you have to do some shit that sometimes it seems a bit odd, like me standing on a box looking into a mirror. Basically, they needed something there so they needed a cue to look at. It's basically, say that you've got like an actress or an actor and they need to hear a bang to turn left. You would have me in the corner going like this. Something for them to actually turn and look at. That's how they would do it. They'd actually have that. That's how they do it. They've always got a cue for someone to look at. So if you were shooting a thing or like a robot comes down the road and they've got to turn their eyes to it, you'd roll a tennis ball down and then they'd be following a tennis ball. Yeah, as Oraway just said there, every frame in a film is art. So much goes into it. I'm back. Sorry, I just had to mute for 2 seconds. Yeah, oh, the guy mentioned on stream, yeah, the guy in my class who directed, yeah. 30 takes, he made us shoot 30 takes of the kissing scene, which I hated that kissing scene, because it didn't add up. He was like 5'1", 5'2". He was like 5'1", 5'2", and she was like 5'10", 5'11". And it just didn't work in the shot. But 30 takes, I felt uncomfortable that we did more than like 2 takes, 3 takes on a film set. I like a lot of takes, guys. I like a lot of takes, so we've got something to cut with. But if you're doing more than, I think if you're doing more than 10 takes, then there's something wrong. Imagine if you were filming your book series, which role would everyone get? Which character can you represent? I don't know. I mean, there is a character actually. There is a character in my science fiction series that is like they call him Agent 6. He's basically this character. He's meant to be like 6'8" in the later stories, but the joke is he used to be really short and he just suddenly shot up. And there is a joke in there. There's a character in there. He's like sick. There's an agent. There's like an agent. The Jeroboam agents. They are like they're like a militia. They're like a militia at this point. They're like a militia. Basically, they just go in and just fight. They're like a militia. And one of the agents, Agent 6, is basically really short, but when he's like 13, 14, he suddenly starts shooting up, and he has a really huge growth spurt, and he's like 6'8" when he's an adult. And the whole line about him is that he's very, very loyal, but he's also worried he's going to kill someone. He's also worried he's also worried he's accidentally going to kill someone in training, because he's just so big. In training, he's worried he's going to kill someone just because he's so big and so heavy. He's worried if he has to tackle someone, he might accidentally kill them. Take those fences. Yeah, if I was filming my book series, I don't know, guys. If I was filming my book series, I would probably do it as a TV series. I wouldn't do it as a film. I'd do it as a TV series, because with a TV series you can expand a bit more. That's why I kind of like what they're doing with Harry Potter. The standard British 5'10" dude, you can actually there's a lot of heightism in Hollywood. There's a lot of heightism in Hollywood, if you get what I mean. There's a lot of heightism in Hollywood. Yeah, the Harry Potter series I think is a good idea as a TV series. It means you can expand it more, because in the films they had to cut so much out, because films you can't really have a film that's too long. But a TV series, you can go, you can make 20 episodes a season. So the first Harry Potter series, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone is going to be 8 episodes, but the first one is the shortest book. But I think with Harry Potter series, I think it's going to get longer as the books get longer, because you've got to think Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix is 700 pages long. Yeah. I used to hate character development when done wrong. I love developing a character, like... Well, the character development went wrong because Harry Potter was almost meant to be... Harry Potter was always meant to be... In the books, Harry Potter is meant to be a tall character, but the guy that played Harry Potter is actually quite short. So, you know, when they're doing those roles, they have to... When they're doing those roles, they have to sort of... they can't anticipate what's going to happen. I have rewatched the movies recently, but I was... I haven't watched... I have watched the movies recently, but... You know, the movies, the first two movies came out before I was born. The first Harry Potter movie came out before I was born. I will admit, like, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets was in cinemas the year I was... I saw you had sent the message in the Discord server. There we go. We can now go to sleep. But yeah, on the Harry Potter thing, like, the guy... It's like, with those shows, they have to sort of hope that it goes right. The Harry Potter series, like, the guy that played Harry Potter in the films, Harry Potter as a character is meant to be fairly tall. Yeah, I did cause the Great Fire of London. I accidentally ran into... I went into a baker's shop and tripped over the pies. But yeah, in the Harry Potter books, for example, they had to cut out a lot. They had to cut out a lot in Harry Potter. For example... They had to cut out Dobby. Like, Dobby should have appeared in more than 2 of the films. He appears in more of the books, but they cut him out of the Goblet of Fire. They cut everything. They cut absolutely everything out of they cut the whole subplot of Hermione trying to create an organization over elf rights, over house elf rights. They cut everything about that. There's a lot of characters that show up that you don't meet, like Bill Weasley and Charlie Weasley. You're meant to meet them in the Goblet of Fire, and all that section was just got rid of. Basically, in the Harry Potter films, they also cut out in the Goblet of Fire, they literally cut out anything that didn't include the trio. Like, they cut out the whole section in the Order of the Phoenix about St. Mungo's Hospital. That guy who died in the maze, I forgot the name. Oh, Cedric Robert Pattinson. But yeah, his character was always meant to die. His character in the books and the films was always meant to die. His character was always meant to die, which his death really works because it was always meant to happen. Cedric Diggory's death was always meant to happen. And the reason it was always meant to happen is it was always going to act as a driving force for Harry Potter to fight the war, to fight in the Second Wizarding War. because Cedric Diggory saved him, saved his life, and then most of everything that happens afterwards is about him saving, you know, avenging his death. Which, you know, it's an amazing film. His character had no development though. That's the whole point though. That's also a thing though. Cedric Diggory doesn't have much development in the film because no one knew in the first lot. In the first, Cedric Diggory's mentioned in the first films. Cedric Diggory's is mentioned in the third film. But the reason he isn't mentioned, he isn't really spoke about in the third film, because nobody knew in the fourth film, nobody knew at the time that in the fourth book he was going to become this important character. He was just a background character. He was just a background character who caught the golden snitch in book 3. So nobody thought about including that bit. Nobody thought about including that bit because yeah, so it's one of those, sometimes they have to make decisions. Like in The Hobbit. In The Hobbit, they missed out stuff. And they added stuff that didn't happen because, you know, sometimes it's very hard. Taking a book from a film, turning a book into a film is really, really hard. Because you can't do everything that's in that book. Like, for example, let me think of another example. Sometimes it's hard to turn page to screen. But when done right, like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, yeah, okay. But when done right, when adapted right, like Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings and then the Harry Potter series, when done right, it leads into good. It leads into good storytelling. When done right, it leads into really good storytelling. But yeah. Apart on that regard, though, guys, like sometimes people can adapt books and get it wrong. Like, for example, I've got a film on my desk. Where is it? There's a film on my desk called A Series of Unfortunate Events. You had braces when you were young, didn't you? No, I didn't actually. Because I don't eat things like sweets. I eat chocolate, which chocolate is chocolate. Because I don't eat things like sweets, like basically the dentist once told me I had the straightest teeth that they had ever seen. Cool. Have a good rest of your day, Oraway. Thank you for joining the live stream, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good rest of your day. I don't know how long this stream's going to last, guys, because we've been streaming just over 2 hours. I might end the stream in a minute, because it's we've been streaming 2 hours, but also I want to work on this book at the same time. I want to there's a book I'm working on, and I'd love to finish it and publish it by May. By the start of May. And this book, guys, will make you guys cry in happiness. It's going to be one of the beautifulest books I've ever written. It's one of the beautifulest it's going to be one of the beautifulest things I've ever done. So yeah, I'm probably going to end this stream anyway, guys, because I am on the knackered. So, thank you for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.